Now, the first thing that might come to mind is deep water, big water, myself included, when you're thinking about trolling. But one thing that might be a little bit more overlooked is shallow water trolling.
Yeah, that's right, Troy. I mean, there's two bites that come to mind when I think of shallow water trolling this time of year. And one of them is suspended spinners, you know, using a split shot, a spinner, and either live bait like a night crawler or a plastic on the back, and then just pitching it behind the boat and trolling over the tops of weeds. You can also put boards out there and troll suspended spinners over the tops of weeds, extremely effective. And then of course, just a small jig with a spinner on it, a plastic, like a thumper jig, for example, getting it out behind the boat. You don't need a lot of electronics. You don't need a lot of know-how really to start catching a lot of fish and lots of different species of fish. So really fun way to fish either way. Yeah. Both methods absolutely effective and deadly.
That's great, that's great. And right now for the first part of a highlight destination, we're heading over to Green Bay, Wisconsin. Throughout the summer months, the upper bay in and around Larson's Reef, Green Island, Monument Shoal, and the Strawberry Islands gather large schools of suspended walleye. Crankbaits like Reef Runners, Rapala's deep diving Husky jerk, and Bagley rumble bees are tried and true trolling baits. The key is to get the baits at the right depth level. Most hardcore trollers use boards and multiple lines to comb large areas looking for bait and roaming walleye. Inline trolling weights and crawler harnesses is the other system that comes into play. Most big water walleye trollers tend to prefer large spinner blades in sizes 4, 5, and 6. Green Bay is one of the best big walleye fisheries in North America. The next hot trolling bite that is really starting to kick in is Lake Michigan salmon and trout fishing. Ports all along eastern Wisconsin and western Michigan are trolling dodger and fly combos, spoons, and meat rigs for king salmon, coho, steelhead, and lake trout. In recent years, with clearing waters, longline and copper line and dipsy divers have become far more popular amongst salmon fishermen around the Great Lakes. This is a great freezer-filling operation. Grilled and smoked salmon makes for some great eating after the trip. The last trolling bite that you may want to look for is the open water walleye bite that occurs in many deep lakes throughout the region that have cold water forage like Cisco and Tullaby. It's an interesting program where you flatline troll minnow lures high over deep water. The key is to find schools of baitfish. This bite tends to be best at low light when Tullaby moves shallow following plankton. This is not a numbers game, but the fish are big. Yes, trolling can be great for big fish, but also be a great way to catch numbers of fish and fill the freezer.
That's right, Troy. If you want a trip that is an absolute chaotic trip when it comes to catching lots of big numbers of fish, the spring coho run on Lake Michigan, you can't miss it. I go every single year because it's just an absolute blast. You can't keep the lines in the water, you're catching so many salmon. You want to talk about filling the freezer? That's the trip for you.
That sounds like a lot of fun for sure.